Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. Are you ready for a Christmas tag? Just a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about this and thought, I don't know that we've ever done a Christmas tag. That sounds like it might be a fun idea. So I called Value Vinyl Steve, kind of threw the idea by him. We put together a list of questions, and hopefully you'll join in with us. And I'm going to go through that list of questions now. And what are you doing, Aretha? You are sniffing. That's just a little distracting. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this list. What is your favorite Christmas song? Well, that would be Peace. It comes from this album, Michael McDonald, a Christmas album. And he wrote the song with Beth Nielsen Chapman, if I'm remembering her name right. And man, I love the lyrics. And I'll read you the second verse. Wondrous child, of whom the angels sing, know my joy, feel my suffering, shining star, make this love you bring, so bright that I may believe that my way will not be lost. From now on, till that river's crossed, my soul renewed and my spirit free, in you I'll find my peace. Just a beautiful song, and I have enjoyed it. I love to listen to him sing. This is a great album, and that song would be my favorite. So my favorite album would be Russ Taff, A Christmas Song. For this album, Russ kind of went back to the old crooner stylings that like Bing Crosby, stuff that he grew with. Such an exceptional record. His soulful voice and James Holohan's jazz guitar just make this the best thing that I've ever heard. Yeah, I know. I know. Imagine that Russ Taff would have a Christmas album that would be my favorite. What are the odds? But yeah, this is such an exceptional album from front to back. And yeah, I'm sparing you the case because the case is cracked. They did do a nice job with the CD. It's kind of got a snowy effect on it. But this is a 1992 album on Sparrow. Has never seen the vinyl pressing, and that's a shame. I'm also quite fond of the sequel, Another Sentimental Christmas with Russ Taff. This actually has a cover of Peace on it. And this album came out. When did this album come out? It was 2000. I believe it was somewhere around 2011, 2012. And I'm not seeing it readily available, but yeah, it was somewhere around there. And yeah, fantastic album, done very much like the first one. And so the great companion pieces. The third question is, what is your favorite album cover? You would think, considering Steve and I put these questions together, I would have a better handle on these. But I guess when we were making them, I wasn't really thinking about the answers. So I've got two to show for this one. The first one is Home for Christmas. And the cover itself is really just looks like a stock photo. So obviously that's not why I like this one. Now there's some question. I was talking with a buddy. I thought maybe this, what I found on the inside of the cover, is part of the cover. I was going to try to find a way to reattach it, but then he said, well, maybe it wasn't meant to be reattached. Maybe it was supposed to be pulled out and set up. And so I don't know. I mean, I've looked at the cover. I can't really tell which way, but I found this pop-up. It's got a pop-up in the middle of it, or in the gatefold. Don't know if that should be attached or if that's just something you would pull out and put on a table during Christmas. Don't know. But it's quite unique. I love that. It was a great thrift find. I've shown it in a thrift video before. But very cool. And I like it for that. Now, as far if we're being strict about just front cover, I would, not a lot really popped out at me, but I do like this one a lot. It is Christmas with the Imperials. Oh, wow. Russ Taft's making another appearance. He's right here. This was when he was with the Imperials. That's not the reason. I just like this cover just because it was a little tongue-in-cheek. You see the picture there on the front. Quaint little Christmas caroling type picture. But on the back, they step back and let you see it as it was on the sound studio. Now, I was talking to someone about this album cover, and they told me that the young lady here is Amy Grant's sister. And they used her for the front cover. Don't know if that's her family with her or not, or if they were just people that happen to be on the set. But yeah, so interesting, and I just like it just because I like that that little bit of humor there. Not trying to be too pretentious. So that's Christmas with the Imperials. Number 4, what song brings out your inner Grinch? Well, again, you would think I would have an answer for the questions that Steve and I came up with, but I don't really have a Christmas album that upsets me or that I think, oh man, that's garbage. But I did think I could flip this question. And so if you're watching this and you think, I don't really have any Christmas music I don't like, you can flip it. What album do you like that brings out everybody else's inner Grinch? I would think that would be this, Mariah Carey. I like this album. This would be one of those albums I think would get a lot of Christmas hate. It has probably been played to death on the radio, but I don't listen to the radio. So when I want to hear this album, I listen to it, and when I don't play it. So it's not wore out for me. I like it. I like the single All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is probably the one that everybody hates the most. But I like it. And this is this is on colored vinyl. Kind of cool. So that's Mariah Carey. Merry Christmas. This next question, I realized, could go 2 different ways. Show your oldest Christmas album. Okay, so one of the oldest Christmas albums that I have, and I have this album. This was the copy that I had when I was a little kid. One of the first albums I ever owned, Snoopy Christmas. And I'm guessing they didn't have the rights to this, to Snoopy. That, because you won't actually see Snoopy anywhere on here. You know, if you know the Snoopy cartoons, of course, he always thought he was on, when he was sitting on his doghouse, he was in a fighter jet. And that's what they're going with here. But you don't ever see Snoopy. And the closest I guess you might get is seeing the top of his head in the helmet. So, I mean, you just really don't see Snoopy at all. But this is on Diplomat. And like I said, it's one of the oldest albums that I have. That as far as my having it, the actual probably oldest album that I have date-wise would be Bing Crosby, Merry Christmas. Now this album I don't think is that old. It's a repressing, but it's not one of the current repressings that they're doing. But I don't know. I'd have to look at real close to see exactly when this was repressed. But you know, this album is much too clean to be, well, maybe it's pretty clean. I don't think it's not brand new, but it's there's no way it's a 1945 record. Though it's got a little weight to it. It's not like an 80s record either. So I don't know. But yeah, 1945, Bing Crosby. They say the older ones have White Christmas instead of Merry Christmas. So there you have that. For oldest, show your newest Christmas album. Right now, that would be this. This is Norah Jones, I Dream of Christmas. It is still sealed. I hope to shoot a unsealing video right after this one for this album. This is a Target exclusive. It's a great album. It's not quite just piano like some of her other albums. It does have elements of pop on some songs, but it hits a great middle ground to sound classically Norah, and has enough of the traditional songs that it feels like a great Christmas album. So that's Norah Jones. And like I said, I'll be shooting a video on this album, hopefully later today. Show your oddest Christmas album. That would be Grave Robber, Scary Christmas to You. Nothing says odd quite like a Christian horror punk Christmas album. Love these guys. Love that cover. Maybe that's my favorite Christmas cover, because that's awfully good. Anyway, it has some great songs on here, like Have Yourself a Scary Little Christmas, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and Grandma Got Half Eaten by a Zombie. So, yeah. Great stuff. And strange. What rules do you have about when you listen to Christmas music? For me, I guess I try to make some sense of it. I've been waiting trying to wait till today, Thanksgiving Day. Maybe that's because I kind of see Thanksgiving as the Royal Rumble leading up to Christmas's WrestleMania. Yeah. So the road to Christmas starts here. And so that's my rule. I guess if I were, right now, especially at church, we're not doing a whole lot of choir stuff. But I guess if I was singing in a choir and we started practice in early November, I'd go ahead and start listening to Christmas music. Then I love Christmas music. Usually when Christmas gets here, it just feels like, man, do I really have to put all the Christmas music away? I'm really getting into it. But yeah, so I do try to wait till Thanksgiving at least. But hey, I think everybody should do what feels right to them. As far as Christmas, I can't it really be that bad to listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving? I can't wait to. I hope some folks will do a video so I can hear some answers to that. Anyway, 10. Show a Christmas album that you like to put on when it's time to open presents. Well, not a lot of gift giving and receiving going on here. I don't really have family. I got 2 cats, and they don't have jobs. They won't be buying me anything. But if I did have a family, I would think that I'd like to play We Wish You a Metal Christmas. So glad to have this on vinyl. Alice Cooper, Ronnie James Dio, Lemmy Kilmister, George Lynch, Tommy Shaw, Jeff Tate, Michael Schenker, Tony Iommi. What a lineup. And I think that when you're opening gifts, there's ripping and tearing and piles of gift wrapping everywhere. That sounds heavy metal to me. So I think that you ought to have metal playing when there's all that chaos and stuff flying everywhere and a big mess, big mosh pit of wrapping paper. Yeah, then it ought to be heavy metal. And so that's that. Number 11. Show the Christmas album you like to put on right before you step under the mistletoe with that special someone. And again, I have no one. But if I did, Diana Krall. This is Christmas songs done with the Clayton Hampton Jazz Orchestra. And let me tell you, she just really doesn't do anything that doesn't sound romantic. Does she? I can't think of a better album to put on when you're trying to set that mood. 12. What album do you want the most for Christmas? Obviously, my biggest, most sought after grail would be the 3rd Sounds of Joy album, Sharon, which was Russ Taff's last album with Sounds of Joy, his band, before he would then go on to sing with the Imperials. And it's rare. I don't even know what anybody would pay for it, because if you go to Discogs, there's no recorded transactions on the album. I would think that it would be kind of expensive just because of the rarity. But I don't know if I'll ever own the album because it is just that hard to find. It doesn't even have Russ on the cover. It was the third album was Sounds of Joy. He was leaving the group to join the Imperials, but he sang on the album. But they put a group picture with the new lead singer on it because they knew Russ wasn't going to be with the group. So, and Russ was, I guess, that was maybe even Russ's suggestion. So, yeah, that's my holiest of grails. Is that realistic? Well, I don't know. Is any of this realistic? As far as just regular albums, there's always a ton of stuff on my wish list. Probably the one I saw that I kind of drooled over the other day was Kiss Rock and Roll Over picture disc. And that's just because it's one of my favorite album covers. Yeah. I didn't even know there was a Rock and Roll Over picture disc. It'd be nice to have, but I've got several copies of that album. I don't know that I would need it. So, finally, number 13. What one particular album would you love to give the entire VC? And no, I'm not going to suggest a Russ Taff album. Besides, I give his stuff to people all the time. In this case, if I had the ability to give everyone in the VC one album, it would have to be Eva Cassidy, Nightbird. This is her live album. It's actually a 4-disc set. Eva Cassidy was such a treasure. She unfortunately died in the 90s from cancer. But her voice was so pure. And she could sing anything under the sun. She was a great cover artist. In fact, her cover of Sting's Fields of Gold is kind of the definitive recording for me now. It's just amazing. You should also hear her do songs like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. She's just amazing, and that would be what I'd want to give the VC, because I just think she is that kind of impactful artist that people are just devastated by her music, and you don't even have to be a big fan of that style of music. She's kind of a acoustic Americana, blues, jazz, folk type blend. But man, what a musician. So anyway, that is the Christmas tag, and I hope folks will jump in on it. And I hope that you're having a great holiday season. I hope your Thanksgiving is going as well as you want it to. I hope all your guests are happy. I hope you're having memories that'll last a lifetime, because that's what it's all about. Hope you have a brilliant record store day tomorrow. And for me and for my cats, happy holidays and peace.